Do you have the courage to find out what actually happens to your soul while you sleep? Because if you do, what you're about to hear might completely shift how you see the world and yourself. This isn't some poetic idea. What Thoth revealed about the true nature of sleep changes everything. Every night as your body drifts into stillness, something extraordinary is happening, something real. Your consciousness leaves behind the limits of this physical world and enters realms where time doesn't tick and space doesn't hold you down. This isn't a metaphor. It happens to you every single night, whether you're aware of it or not. And once you see it, you'll never close your eyes the same way again. Because sleep is not the end of the day. It's the beginning of the journey. Where do you really go when you sleep? Thoth, the ancient master of Hermetic wisdom, was talking about this long before science ever caught on. He said that when we fall asleep, we don't just rest, we release. Our consciousness unhooks from the body and begins to travel. Not randomly, but through portals, through layers, through planes of existence that most people will never consciously touch. Now, modern science is starting to catch little glimpses of this. During REM sleep, our brainwaves look almost identical to deep meditation or near-death experiences. People report time distortion, floating sensations, sudden downloads of clarity. It's like something is happening that goes beyond dreams. But Thoth already knew. He said your brain isn't the source of consciousness. It's just a tool, a receiver, a bridge. And when you sleep, that bridge loosens. You're not shutting down, you're waking up somewhere else. The invisible movement behind sleep. To the outside world, sleep looks still, calm, quiet, but behind that silence there's motion, an invisible current. Thoth taught that sleep is a return to your original state. It's when your soul remembers who it is, when it's free from the noise of the world, and it can travel through planes that are usually hidden during waking life. These realms, they're not imaginary. They're not just dreams. They're as real, if not more real, than the physical world. And what you experience there depends on something most people completely ignore: the frequency you carry into sleep. Here's the part no one teaches you: the emotional and mental state you're in right before you fall asleep determines everything. Thoth was very clear about this. The frequency you fall asleep in is the compass that guides your soul while your body rests. That means if you go to bed full of anxiety, fear, guilt, or sadness, guess what? You tune into the lower planes, the denser ones, the shadowy layers where confusion and chaos live. That's why so many people wake up tired or have recurring nightmares. It's not random. But if you fall asleep in peace, with gratitude, clarity, and presence, you rise. You access levels of consciousness where your soul isn't just drifting, it's learning, receiving, reconnecting. This is what Thoth called the temple of the soul, a real place not in the physical, but in the higher vibrational realms. A place where knowledge flows directly into your being, without books, without words. What happens right before you sleep matters. The most powerful part, you don't need some ancient ritual to access this. You don't need chance candles or crystals. You need presence. You need intention. What you feel, what you think, and what you declare in the moments before falling asleep, those are the seeds that decide where your soul will go. Most people drag unresolved emotions, looping thoughts, and stress into their sleep. That emotional baggage becomes the material their consciousness builds its nightly journey with. But if you make even a small shift, just a few moments of stillness, a breath of gratitude, a silent intention, you open a completely different door. The hidden moment no one talks about now. Here's where things get even deeper. Thoth spoke of a moment, a tiny fleeting moment that almost no one notices. It's not when you're fully awake, and it's not when you're fully asleep. It's the instant between, that liminal space between worlds, a portal. He called it the hidden passage. It's when your rational mind begins to quiet, but your soul hasn't yet drifted. It's silent, it's powerful, and it's where your consciousness can choose the path it's about to take. Most people miss it. Why? Because they fall asleep unconsciously scrolling, stressing, distracted. Their soul is then pulled into whatever vibration they last carried. But if you're present in this moment, you can steer. You can guide your consciousness toward the higher realms, toward the real learning temples that exist beyond this world. The portal geniuses used without realizing. Edison knew about it whether he used Hermetic language or not. Tesla too. They'd use short naps, intentionally slipping into that state between wakefulness and sleep, and they'd come back with ideas, visions, inventions. That's not coincidence. Thoth taught that in this threshold state, the hypnagogic portal, your soul listens. It receives guidance. It perceives symbols and energy with a clarity that the waking mind can't handle. It's not imagination, it's navigation. And that moment only lasts seconds. It's fragile. If you're not aware of it, it passes. But if you are, that's where the magic happens. You're not dreaming alone. Here's the part that unsettles some people. You're not alone in these realms. Every night as your soul travels through the subtle dimensions, you're entering a shared field, a vibrational ocean. And in that ocean, there are others. Some are luminous, peaceful healing. Some are fragments of fear, anger, or confusion, unresolved pieces of consciousness wandering through the same plane. That's why some dreams feel safe, like you're being watched over, and others feel like a trap. They're not just your imagination. They're reflections of the frequency you brought with you in the field you entered because of it. Your dream mirrors. These places aren't static. They morph, shift, change with your thoughts and your emotional state. Thoth said these realms shape themselves to match your vibration. If you're in fear, everything around you echoes that. If you're in peace, the entire landscape reflects it. That's why one night's sleep can feel like heaven, and the next like a storm. Same body, different vibration. So now you know your dreams aren't just imagination, they're reflections, they're journeys. But here's the question: what would happen if instead of sleep happening to you, you started participating in it consciously? Because even if you enter these higher realms, there's a big challenge most never overcome. They get there, but they stay blind. They wander, experiencing incredible things, but they don't realize it. They don't retain it. It slips away the moment they wake up. Thoth warned us the journey doesn't really begin until you wake up within the invisible world. That's when the dream stops being a story and becomes a school. The moment consciousness activates, Thoth described the invisible planes as vibrational layers of existence, not physical worlds, but real nonetheless. In these realms, thought shapes form. Vibration creates structure, and your consciousness walks through these environments while your body lies peacefully in bed. These realms aren't uninhabited. They're teeming with consciousness, some peaceful, some chaotic. Some are beings of light, others are fragments of fear or confusion. You encounter all of this while your rational mind sleeps. And this is where most people get stuck. They travel through these places unconsciously reacting to their surroundings like they're in a movie they can't control. But Thoth taught something different. He said you must remember where you are while you are there. That's what activates the second stage of the journey, awakening inside the dream. From passenger to traveler. The shift is subtle, but it changes everything. You're no longer a passenger being pulled through dreamscapes. You become a traveler, aware, conscious, and able to shape your experience. You begin to see the structure behind the dream, the symbols, the layers, the places. And those places aren't all created by your mind. Some are ancient, hidden, timeless. Thoth spoke of these sacred spaces, vibrational temples, invisible schools where knowledge isn't taught with language, but transmitted directly to the soul. He called them sanctuaries of the spirit. And here's the incredible part. People still access them today. The schools of the spirit. All over the world, there are people who report waking up with knowledge they never studied. They remember vivid teachings that align perfectly with Hermetic wisdom, sacred geometry, universal law, ideas they never read or learned consciously. And yet they know them. These are the people who, without knowing how, begin to live differently. Their perspective expands. Their priorities shift. They start seeing beyond surface-level experience. Why? Because they didn't just dream. They attended something. These schools of the spirit can't be found in the material world. They're older than civilization, and they don't open for everyone. Not because they're exclusive, but because their frequency is too high for most to reach. You don't enter with effort. You enter through alignment. The real preparation happens within. You can't brute force your way into these realms. No technique, no amount of effort, no spiritual shortcut will work unless the vibration of your soul is aligned. Thoth said the preparation happens in silence, in stillness. It begins in the minutes before you fall asleep. You don't need candles or mantras. You need to quiet the noise inside you, because if your mind is loud, if your heart is heavy, you're too dense to rise. Thoth compared this to trying to fly while dragging suitcases full of bricks. But when you soften, when you let go, your soul becomes light again, and then the doors open. Silence is the gateway. Inner silence isn't just peace, it's a doorway. When you fall asleep with unresolved thoughts, emotions, regrets, expectations, they come with you. They shape what you see, where you go, what you remember. But if you release those weights consciously, breathe consciously, let go, you realign. You enter the state where your soul can travel with clarity. And this is where Thoth introduced a simple but powerful truth intention is the compass. Your nightly intention shapes everything. Before bed, ask yourself one thing. Where do I want my consciousness to go tonight? Not in a begging way, not like a wish, like a decision. Say it clearly. Tonight I choose to awaken in the higher realms. I choose to receive what my soul is ready to learn. That declaration shapes your frequency. It's like tuning your internal radio to a higher signal. And what you tune into is what you enter. Clean your vibration before sleep. There's one more piece. Thoth emphasized a piece modern minds often dismiss: vibrational cleansing. Don't let the phrase throw you off. This isn't superstition, it's hygiene. Imagine your energetic body is like a window. If it's covered in smudges, you can't see clearly. So before sleep, visualize your body surrounded in light gold, white, or violet. See it dissolving all the stress, fear, and distractions you picked up during the day. Clear your field. Clean your lens. Because if you don't, the junk you carry will become the terrain you travel. Crossing the veil of forgetfulness. Even if you do everything right, there's one final obstacle: remembering. You might travel, you might receive, you might be taught incredible things. But when you wake up, nothing. It's frustrating, right? This is what the ancients called the veil of forgetfulness. It's a vibrational filter that your soul passes through on the way back to your body. And when it does, much of what you experience gets blurred or erased. Not as punishment, but as protection. Your rational mind isn't built to process everything that happens out there. So what do? Train the memory of the soul. Thoth said that even the veil can be crossed with consistency. Start here before bed. Say out loud or in your mind. Tonight I will remember everything my soul experiences. Simple, but powerful. Consciousness follows intention. And when you wake up, write anything, even fragments, even feelings. Keep a dream journal by your bed and don't judge what comes through. That practice creates a bridge. It strengthens your soul's memory. Over time, the messages become clearer, the dreams less random, the symbols more vivid, and you begin to see the path. So now you understand your dreams are doorways. Your consciousness travels. You're not imagining, you're remembering. But what if I told you that all of this lucid dreams, vibrational realms, even the veil of forgetfulness is only the beginning? Because when your soul starts to awaken inside these nightly journeys, something extraordinary happens. You stop dreaming about life and start training for it. The dream as a portal beyond time. Thoth said the soul doesn't move through time the way we think it does. In sleep, it doesn't walk a straight line from yesterday to tomorrow. It floats. It glides through layers of vibration where all possibilities exist, not just one future or one past, but many. This is why you've had dreams that seem to predict something, only for it to happen days, weeks, or even years later. These are what many call premonitory dreams. But they're not magic. They're not coincidence. They're just glimpses into frequencies you haven't lived yet but already exist. Time in the invisible world is fluid. Space bends, and your soul, when free from the physical body, can touch realities that haven't arrived in your waking life. It's not just foresight, it's resonance. Accessing the eternal records, Thoth spoke of something profound, something that would later be called the Akashic Records. But he described it more simply: the eternal memory field. a dimension where every thought, every emotion, every action, past, present, and future, is recorded vibrationally. Your soul in the right state can access these records during sleep. This is why some people wake up with memories that don't feel like dreams. They feel ancient. They feel personal, as if they've lived them before, because in many cases, they have. You're not just remembering dreams. You're remembering yourself across lifetimes, when two souls dream together. But there's a rarer phenomenon, one that very few speak about because it sounds impossible until it happens to you. It's when two people during sleep meet in the same dream, not as a metaphor, not as fantasy, as a shared experience. They interact in the same landscape, have the same conversation, and when they wake up thousands of miles apart, they both recall the same details. This isn't imagination. This is the collective dimension of consciousness, where souls don't just travel, they meet, they learn, they exchange. And when you've had this experience, even once you realize something huge, you were never dreaming alone. Most dreams are training. Thoth made it clear dreaming isn't a form of escape. It's a form of preparation. The soul uses this time to strengthen, remember, and rehearse. You've probably noticed how sometimes your dreams feel like tests, challenges, emotional trials, situations where you're forced to confront fears, choices, or old patterns. That's not random. It's your soul refining itself. Think of it like a flight simulator. Before you fly in waking life, your consciousness practices in a safe environment, learning how to respond, how to heal, how to grow. This is why you often wake up feeling different, even if you can't explain why. Something shifted overnight, and deep down you know it wasn't just a dream. Not all realms are equal. But here's what Thoth warned: most people don't get to the higher levels. They stay in the lower planes, wandering among fragments of thought, unresolved emotions, and daily residue. These realms are like reflections of the waking world, but more chaotic, more symbolic, more reactive. Why? Because their vibration hasn't risen high enough to unlock the deeper temples. These schools of the spirit, real sanctuaries of wisdom, aren't hidden behind gates. They're hidden behind frequency. And only those who've done the inner work, who've purified their vibration, set clear intention, and cultivated inner silence, gain access. Not because they're special, but because they're ready. Learning without words inside these temples, teaching doesn't happen through books or lectures. It happens through vibration, through symbols, through direct experience. You might see a shape and instantly know what it means. You might hear a sound and feel your entire perception shift. You might be shown a moment from your own life, but this time see it from the perspective of your soul, not your ego. And when you wake up, something is different. You can't explain it, but you know. You see more clearly. You feel more peace. You begin to live with a quiet sense of purpose. That's not random. That's the after effect of real learning. Why you forget and how to remember. But of course, most people forget these experiences. They wake up and the memories dissolve like fog in sunlight. Why? Because of what Thoth called the veil of forgetfulness, a vibrational filter that protects your waking mind from overload. Your human brain wasn't built to handle the full complexity of these realms. So much is filtered out. But here's the good news: with practice, the veil becomes thinner, and eventually it becomes transparent. That's why keeping a dream journal is so powerful. Even fragments, emotions, or colors, record them. That simple act signals to your soul, I'm listening, I'm paying attention. And when you pay attention, the messages become louder. The final nightly practice. So before you sleep tonight, do this. Silence your inner noise. Let go of everything that's weighing you down. Cleanse your energy. Visualize light clearing your emotional and mental field. Set your intention. Say clearly, tonight I choose to awaken in the higher realms. I choose to receive what my soul is ready to learn, and I choose to remember. Trust. Don't force anything, just allow. This is not superstition, it's energetic preparation. And when you prepare your field, your soul rises. This is only the beginning. Every night your soul leaves the physical world behind. Every night you step into a portal, beyond time, beyond space, beyond form. The question is, will you sleep through it or will you awaken within it? You were never just a body. You are a traveler, a student, a spark of the all. So tonight, instead of closing your eyes to forget, close them to remember. Because the invisible world is waiting for you. And if you've made it this far, write in the comments, I am crossing the portal. This isn't just a sentence, it's a vibrational act. Every comment creates an energy field and echo that helps others remember too. And if you feel called to support this message, check the first pinned comment for a special link. Every contribution helps us awaken more souls like yours. Finally, I've prepared a powerful video that shows you how to go even deeper, how to apply Thoth's wisdom in your nightly practice. It's on screen now. Click it and I'll meet you there. There's something important waiting for you on the other side.